Dragon Ball has been a massive hit in Mexico, weaving itself deeply into its cultural tapestry. Dragon Ball is this blinding force that brings Mexicans together, but why? What is it about Dragon Ball that was able to captivate an entire country and root itself within its culture?
Pelotero la bola, batiri, batiri, ba, batiri, batiri, ba, batiri, batiri, ba. Pelotero la bola, batiri, batiri, ba, sigue la bola, batiri, batiri, ba, mira la bola, batiri, batiri, ba, se va la bola, batiri, batiri, ba, que se pare la bola. Mira pelotero que se pare la bola, que se vuelva a parar, que se pare otra vez, que se pare 3 veces.
Growing up, my family and I would gather up in the living room and watch the TV as we ate dinner. To us, it was the only time of the day in which we could spend time together. One evening, my dad walked in with a collection of bootleg Dragon Ball Z DVDs. I had no idea what Dragon Ball was at the time, but I noticed just how excited my dad was to watch it with us. Years passed by before he shared with us just how special Dragon Ball was to him, as it was a show that he grew up watching back in Mexico. It wasn't up until recently that I began to understand what it was that my dad felt when he watched Dragon Ball. Why it was that he treasured it, why he wouldn't care if people called him a child for watching cartoons, and why it was that he decided it was important to share that part of him with us, even if it wasn't communicated directly. Similar to Goku, my father grew up alone with his grandparents in the mountains of Mexico. He'd get up early to do his daily chores, such as feeding the livestock, gathering firewood, and maintaining the farmland. He'd often find himself wandering around the woods that surrounded the area, hunting for food or simply enjoying his time in nature. This allowed me to understand how it was that other Mexican children could look at Kid Goku and see a reflection of themselves within him. These children could also see the manifestation of their wild imagination in which they themselves would create these fantastical stories of being able to become strong enough to protect the ones they love from evil, being represented right through their screens. Unlike him, I find myself wanting to be more like Luffy, the young and ambitious man that has set out to sea to find the One Piece, a great treasure that would grant whoever found it fame, wealth, and power. From the very beginning of the story, we can see how it is that Luffy sees the world and what he wants from it. He travels the seas with the freedom that we once experienced as children, and despite the hardships he faces, he always ends up wearing that contagious smile with confidence and freedom. Wanting to understand my obsession over the story and its characters, I found myself falling through the rabbit hole of self-help and spiritualism. One of the topics that stood out to me was the idea of finding one's inner child and freeing them from the shackles of reality. Looking back at my childhood, I noticed that there was a point in which my enjoyment for life itself diminished. I began to care about what people thought and was constantly creating different personalities that would help me obtain validation from others. It's as if I developed a coping mechanism that would protect me, but instead hid that child away to protect it from the cruelty of the world. Accepting my internal issues has allowed me to find the corner and to start breaking the concrete wall that I had built to protect the child. They want to live as much as I do. They want to travel and see the beauty of the world. And the child I once was dreamed as big as Luffy does. I enjoyed life and I felt the love of the world itself. I want to be as kind and as confident as Luffy. And just like Luffy states that he will become the king of the pirates, I too will chase after my goals and dreams with that same confidence and determination. I will get up and direct all my strength towards achieving my dream. I will set the goals that will give me a better shot at achieving the one dream I've had since I was a child. Because I will find the One Piece, and I will become the king of the pirates. This week was a bit slow, but reflective. I was given the opportunity to ponder upon my own mistakes and sit with that feeling. Sure, there's nothing I can do to change the past, but there's always something to learn from it, and that's something I've been doing lately. I had a physical exam the other day, and I decided to be honest with my doctor. And, she diagnosed me with a bunch of funky stuff, but that's okay. Because, I've been bottling up these emotions lately, and I've been refusing to ask for help because I'm supposed to be strong. At least that's what my culture has engraved in me. And I get it. It can be destructive to allow your emotions to control you, but the lack of help is concerning. I've been wanting to tell my mom what it is that I think every day, such as how these thoughts of failure, plague my mind, but I don't want my mom to worry more about me than she usually does. And I've been feeling very, very tired. But I forced myself to keep going and to stay strong because my parents crossed over at around my own age. They left their own families behind to find better financial opportunities in a country that despises them. Yet, here I am, allowing myself to give up. Or at least that's the way it used to be. As warm as a ray of sun through a cloudy sky, promising opportunities have revealed themselves. That trip I had sat me down and revealed things about me, but it also removed them. Especially that desperate feeling of wanting to get out of the situation as soon as possible. I had no patience, but I've been feeling so much better lately. I feel love, not just from my family and friends, but from the world itself. It's as if I was given a blanket in the middle of a storm to remind me that although it may still be cold outside, the sun will come back. I took this time to make more changes in my life and to view the world differently. I've been hitting the gym every day, and yeah, it's easy for me to tell myself that I should rest, but I've been fighting that urge by pushing myself towards failure every day. Lately, the man I see in the mirror is a man I'm starting to love. I'm starting to feel love for that reflection of myself. And I didn't expect things to change this fast. And sure, I now have to deal with the consequences of my past actions, but that's okay. Every new day has become a day in which I want to overcome my limits while also setting a balance between my body and mind. Drastic changes can be detrimental to the body, so I tread this path carefully and patiently. Because all I know is that everything will be okay in the end. And if things aren't okay, then that means it's not the end just yet.